Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi about this topic, financial intelligence. And also, you're talking about parents with the previous speaker. I found the session very insightful, very important topic. Of course, across the board, not just those of us who find ourselves in positions of leadership or the role might see us in the top positions, but just generally in every aspect of our life. Essentially, where you what you need to get there, what are the hindrances that will uncover you from getting there, and what do you need to do to get those there. I think strategy was very important generally in life. And he said something that was also very important, to think long term, right? So within the financial context, if you're talking about long term now, we can be talking about maybe what do I need to do financially for us and benefits in 20 years, in 25 years. So that's long term, right? Over 30 years. You short term, you might think, okay, maybe in 12 months, in 18 months, and so on and so forth. But what is the ultimate long term? Ultimate long term, that's the ultimate long term. So whatever investment we are doing, whatever strategy that we are taking on board, that is the ultimate long term. So if what we are doing, is beneficial short term, but long term is not beneficial, then that's not strategic intelligence. Okay, so for example, I might see a pork business, for example. We all know pork is haram in Islam, and it could yield me maybe 200% in 12 months. That's a lot of money. So short term is intelligence, but long term is a very unintelligent. So financial intelligence. I was wondering how to approach it. Because I myself am if I'm so financially intelligent, I'll probably have a private jet. So just based on the little knowledge I have, first of all, let me give a little background of myself. So in the area of investment research at Investment Financial Services, Investment Financial Services represent like the name suggested, financial services, so asset management, portfolio management, real estate, structured finance, just the comprehensive financial services. So what I do is that I'm head of investment research. The investment research, what we essentially do is we do research into these different asset classes, and then we give this, we analyze it, and then we recommend. So, for example, this filling station, that is somewhere in Kokoda, the owner self investment. The investment says the one of one, do diligence if you will on that filling station. So, okay, let's look at it. Specification, the amount of cars that pass that road per day, this is it, this is the price of petrol, this is the legislation. Like kind of petroleum product you can sell here, so on and so forth, and then we not give the recommendation that okay, go ahead and invest, or do not invest, or wait a little months, and so on and so forth. So that is essentially what we across different asset classes, not just filling stations that I mentioned, equity, fixed income instruments, commodities, real estate, and so on. These are different asset classes. So as I said, I was wondering, what angle to come at it from, from what I can observe, we're Muslims there. So I think it is key and important for us to look at our financial strategy from that angle first, from the lens of Islam. So I want to just set some preliminary principles. So first of all, there's the capitalist system, the capitalist economy. So what's capitalism? What's the capitalist system? The capitalist system is largely the predominant system that we are living in. Here in Nigeria, in the West, some parts of the East, some parts. And it's essentially a system. The capitalist system is essentially a system where the core value in that system is to make profit. That's the core value of that system, is to make profits. Right? So it gives ownership to private individuals. It's it takes into account the dynamics of supply and demand. It allows a free market space. So it's a laissez-faire market space, right? So, and the core value, I said, the primary motive in that system is profits motive. Okay. So I like to give an example. Like, imagine a game. Imagine I'm playing a game on this table, and all of us are here. And the objective of that game is for each person to make as much money as they can. And everybody starts out equally. But the objective of that game is for each person to make as much money as they can. That's the capitalist system. And the only restrictions, the only legislation, the only rules in that game, the only legislations in that capitalist system are legislations that have been come up or that have been designed by human beings like human. That's the only restrictions in that capitalist system. So, for example, you cannot kill somebody and make money. I think that's an obvious rule. You can't kill somebody and you can't rob somebody, guns and all of that. So that's so the rules, the restrictions in that game or in that capitalist system are the ones that are legislated by human beings like you and I. And human beings are flawed. Therefore, what comes out from human beings is likely to be flawed and also subject to change over time. In the United States of America, for example, today, LGBTQ is something that is prominent. Gay marriage is something that is allowed. Legislation allows it. But 150 years ago, legislation is allowed. So over time, the legislation that human beings put forth is subject to change. So in a capitalist system, that kind of evolution tends to happen. The legislations that are put in place, right, in that system, whereby the motive is to make profits, the legislation and restrictions put in place are subject to change, and they are also flawed because they come from human beings. Now let's, put that against the Islamic economy or the Islamic system. In the Islamic system, it doesn't deny profit motive. Because we are going to business to make money. It doesn't deny supply-demand dynamics. It doesn't deny all those things. But the restrictions in this case, the restrictions and legislations in this case, do not come from human beings like you and I in the capitalist system. It comes from Allah. That's the difference. It comes from Allah. And they are divine. And unlike the restrictions and limitations from human beings, allows them, they are perfect and they do not change. They are perfect and they do not change. So just by that already, it's clear that the Islamic system, it's clear the superiority it has over the capitalist system. In the capitalist system, the legislations and restrictions that are there, because they are not divinely inspired, and the objective of that system is profit motive, you now tend to find things like interest. People, because they have some money, and there's no legislation that is restricting them from lending somebody else money and then just charging them money for that. Like, Because the objective is to make money for our kids, and there's no registration stopping it. So interest, gambling, I can set up a Baba in the company. Objective is to make profits, so I need, prostitution and all sorts, just to make money. For Islam, of course, these examples are repeated. And what happens when these things are mentioned are proliferated in the system is that the people tend to cheated, there is no justice and equity in that system. And that's why it's rich just get richer and poor just get poorer. From Islamic system, it prohibits this and allows for equity, justice, and all of that. So, when we're talking about financial intelligence, the number one consideration, the real intelligence person is the one who approaches his finances with Islam in mind, making sure that he operates as a Muslim, firstly, before an investor or a financier, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, personally, I've had a lot of people, come and me with different questions, about this interests, how bad is the really? Someone's going to ask me, if it's even wrong at all. Someone is it just not good? Like, is it just a slide? And it's not encouraged, right? But at the same time, it's not forbidden. It's not encouraged. It's very clear in the Quran. Allah says that whoever eats interest in the Baqarah, that they will not be able to stand on the day of judgment, except one that has been beaten into insanity by the wrong. And then Allah goes further with the surah to talk about how he has waged war. Allah and the Messenger has, the person who still insists on continuing interest has, should be informed of the war from Allah and the Messenger. So this type of language that's being used for non-Muslim things already speaks to the severity of it. And of course, Prophet has talked about, for example, the hadith about Sabah ibn Bakr, that the 7 major cardinal destructive sins. It says Shirk billah, was وقتل النفس التي حرمها إلا بالحق. That's killing, murder, وأكل riba, that is eating riba. So look at the category that the Prophet placed the riba in. So if someone comes to ask you that, I'm starting this business, and the business is prostitution. The business is prostitution, that is the business for us to be renting out. Actually, automatically, you'll be like, no, I'm not interested in that business. Right? Or, I'm not looking about it, but there is a prostitution. Of course, it's one of the major sins, but, I'm just, emphasizing the severity of this riba. So, it's very important for us to take that into account. I think it's always important. As a result, some asset classes we should not look at. So, conventional fixed income asset classes. Why? Because they are just pure profits. So, bonds, treasury bills, commercial papers, these are very common ones that we find. And we'll touch on them in which we should stay away from. Also, non-fixed income asset classes like equity, stocks, of companies that are into haram. So, Guinness, for example, Guinness is listed on the top of the, you can buy Guinness stock. Well, first, Guinness is a haram business, alcohol, they're into alcohol. Also, MB, Nigerian breweries, they're also in the Nigerian stock exchange. Shouldn't delve into that alcohol. Also, banks. We talked about how riba is terrible. That is the business of banks. That is the business of conventional banks. Right? So, conventional banks like GT, Zenith Bank, Fidelity Bank, not involved in. So, having said that, I think it's also important to also emphasize that, interest, yes, that's the common terminology used to describe riba, but riba is not just interest. So riba is a more encompassing term. So that categorized into two types of riba, riba and nasiya, riba and fadl. So riba and nasiya is the one we describe, that's the good interest. So that you lend someone money, they are demanding extra on top of that money. Right? So that's not describing, but the riba and fadl is the kind of riba hadith, because the hadith that was repeated in Sahih Muslim, he talks about how it should be commodity for commodity. So Prophet said gold for gold, silver for silver, wheat for wheat, barley for barley, dates for dates. So I cannot go to someone, for example, and say, okay, I have this old gold, this jewelry is old, give me new gold for it an exchange. And then same with tickets exchange. That's wrong. That's what we have. That's what we have. So, and this is just purely for commodities. So this is not for other things like a food. So I have an iPhone 5, we have an iPhone 4, so just for these commodities. Now, with all these instruments, available to us that we can use to make money, what are then the alternatives for us as Muslims, that want to be financially independent? What is out there for us to be able to put our money in to make money from? There are different modes, or there are different types. So we need to look at it from an investor's perspective, and also need to look at it from a financier's perspective, an investor perspective, and a financing perspective. So essentially, investing is obviously you put money into something, you look for yield and returns. And financing is essentially getting money to start a business, to buy a house, to buy a car, and so on and so forth. So let's start from the investing perspective. Before we move to any specially designed instruments for Muslims, in the conventional space, there are instruments that are permissible for us to invest in, which one is financially intelligent to be used to make money from. The first one I'll start with is the equity markets, the stock markets. What is the equity market? What is the stock market? It's essentially a space where companies they list off the parts of their company to the public for them to invest in or for them to buy. So there are different modes of raising money. So a bakery, for example, you have a bakery, right? And you need money to run a bakery. So obviously you need to buy ovens, you need to buy racks, you need to rent the place, and so on and so forth. And how to raise money. I even say there are 4 different ways to raise money. The first one is through debts. So person goes to the bank and just borrow money. The bank charges them interest. So obviously that's not mentioned. So it's not a question for us. So that's conventional kind of law. So I'll just borrow money and then give a return for that debt towards interest. The second option before is equity. So that means someone needs to HNIs, that's what high net worth individuals, or HNI benefit individuals, or the public, I would say, okay, once you raise money, let me give you 5% of my company. You own 5% of my company. So give me the money. You own 5% of my company. Right? So say I value my whole company. I value my whole company at 100 million naira. That's the worth I value my company at. So I go to the equity space and so I'll give 5%. So therefore 5% of my company is 5 million naira worth. So I raise that 5 million naira from the equity space. So they own 5% of my company. Therefore, when I get my PAT, that's my net profits, when I make money at the end of the day, they essentially own 5% of that profit. So if at the end of the day I make 1,000 naira, they own 5% of 1,000 naira. That's the second way of raising money. The third way of raising money, I usually say is friends or family gifts. So that is say, it is 10 million naira. That's another way of raising money. And the fourth one, but this one is like that, I usually say, it's still the one. So, still the one. So, that is obviously that. So, the second option I mentioned, equity, that's what the stock market is. Big companies, they go to the stock market and list they buy shares of a company. That's another way of raising money. So, that equity market, as I said, stock market, it's one of the conventional asset classes which we Muslims can also benefit from, and express our financial intelligence and make a lot of money. To just give examples, this year so far, over 9 months into the year, less than 10 months, there are some companies on the stock exchange that they run 400% return, they run 500% return, they done almost 800% return. Last year, for example, some companies did over 1,000% return. And they usually sound abstract until someone like me started working in this business and actually seeing physically people's portfolio. They are just making money. So you just see people just walking around, seeing me, just driving a Range Rover, all these cars are just on the road that we don't even think about twice. All these people are making money from the stock market. All these people are making money from the stock market. There is a client that we have that's a portfolio with us. He works for Wando shares. Wando is upstream oil company, that's energy company. He works for oil and gas shares. Wando shares in around 3. And what's about 9 naira per share. And what is substantial amount? I think he paid like 10 million naira. And what's Wando? Wando was 9 naira when it was. Now Wando is close to 19 naira. So he has done about 780% between May and now. That's about 4 months. So obviously that is, but another person I see it. The point I'm making is that people that make money from the equity market don't mention it. It does make money. That's just another space that people make money. And as I said, the reason why I'm more talking about it now, I'm seeing it, just rising. On a personal note, last year, transport conglomerates, which they have not broken out, the transport power is not out of their power. It did well, and I did over 100%. Now, why am I putting these figures out? Of course, for the sensational effects, to make people interested, and also to point out that how many investments are you doing over a 12-month period, over a year period? That's getting you 780%. Now, obviously, that's not always the case every time, but the Nigerian Stock Exchange, which is an index, essentially takes into account all of the equity, all of the stocks in that market. Every year, it does work. Last year, the whole stock market, although, like I said, some people give 1,000%, some people give 700%, some people give 500%, the market has only give over 45%. So if you just invested generally in fundamentally sound stocks, that's the benchmark for 45%. That's a good investment. So people who put a billion, right, a billionaire and they eat 45%. That's 150 million naira. And they are not aggressive risk inclined investors like ones that are a bit more, obviously more risk, more return. So the equity market is going to encourage us to look at. Let's look at it. There is risk. There is risk. That's why there are fund managers. Let's take advantage of their services. They'll keep an eye on your portfolio and they'll manage it accordingly. And like I said, it's investing. Of course, you do your due diligence. So fundamentally sound stocks. So for example, the Dangote Cement. Dangote Cement, if you look at their history, you see that they're fundamentally sound. Over the last decade, you see that the revenue has been growing. Other stocks too, MTN, Airtel, Wando is now one of the biggest market capitalization. But let me leave out Wando. For MTN, Airtel, Dangote Cement, BUA Cement, these are companies that we know that are a strong part of the Nigerian economy. So we can invest in them. These businesses, their stocks are allowed for investment. Their stocks are allowed for investment. So it's an option. Equity market is one that we strongly consider. Internationally as well, there are different indexes. So the S&P 500 is the Dow Jones Index. There is the NASDAQ index. The index, that's in America. Look at the UK, there's FTSE, that's the Financial Times Stock Exchange. There's LSE, that's the London Stock Exchange. Then we look at the Nigerian options. There's Macau, Middle East, there you can be access to maybe Saudi Arabia. Those are the Saudi Arabia is the US market. So, there's the Nikkei. Nikkei is in Japan. People are making money with Nigerians. Getting deals. And that's the point. People who are financially intelligent, one of their huge or one major thing that is armed themselves with is information. They're saying that wisdom is a fruit that can only be gotten from a tree of knowledge. Wisdom is a fruit that can only be gotten from a tree of knowledge. So wisdom here is financial intelligence. That's the fruit. And the only tree you can get that fruit from is knowledge, information. So there are some Nigerians, as I mentioned, who they don't even look at this market. That all those Nigerians are working out. They are only just to focus on UK, the Japanese markets. It's make sure they understand the Japanese economy. They know the Japanese economy. They are following Japan.